My time has just flown by. So what happened in the 80s, I think? I'm so happy for your upcoming retirement.
She was the calm in every storm, the steady voice millions trusted each morning. But now, she's the one in crisis. Missed shows, a fading smile, and then the diagnosis that left her family in tears. What happened to Gayle King? Why is America's most trusted anchor suddenly stepping back? And how much has she been hiding from the public eye? This is the story she never wanted to tell, until now. To understand why that matters, you have to know the journey. Gayle King didn't become one of America's most respected journalists overnight. Born in Chevy Chase, Maryland, her early years were marked by constant change. At just 6 years old, she moved with her family to Turkey, where her father worked as an electrical engineer. By the time she returned to the US, she had already experienced life through an entirely different lens. She graduated with a degree in psychology from the University of Maryland, but her path would lead her far from therapy rooms and into newsrooms. Starting as a production assistant in Baltimore, she worked behind the scenes until she met a young news anchor named Oprah Winfrey. That meeting would change everything. The friendship between Gayle and Oprah wasn't forged under the spotlight. It was built in the trenches of local news. Late nights, shared stories, and a mutual respect that would only grow stronger over the years. While Oprah's star rose rapidly, Gayle carved her own path. She trained at WUSA TV in Washington, then reported in Kansas City and Hartford, where she spent nearly 2 decades building trust with viewers. Eventually, she landed at CBS. By 2012, she was the co-anchor of CBS This Morning, a position she would hold through one of the network's most turbulent eras. When co-host Charlie Rose was removed amid sexual misconduct allegations, Gayle didn't shy away. She led. She asked the uncomfortable questions. She demanded accountability. And then came the moment that would define her poise under pressure, the R. Kelly interview, with Kelly screaming, flailing, breaking down on national television. Gayle sat still, calm, clear. Her questions didn't waver. Her tone never cracked. That moment earned her universal praise and reminded the world what journalism under fire truly looks like. But not every story ended with applause. In the aftermath of Kobe Bryant's death, Gayle interviewed Lisa Leslie and referenced Bryant's past sexual assault allegation. A short clip, ripped out of context, went viral. Hate flooded in. Threats, outrage, misinterpretation fueled by emotion. CBS eventually admitted its mistake in sharing the clip without proper context. But the damage had been done. Gayle, once again, stood firm. Over time, the public began to notice a shift. In 2024, she appeared on red carpets with a dramatically slimmer figure. Her look, elegant, radiant, drew attention. She even graced the cover of the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition at age 69. She laughed about it, joked she had a cheeseburger before the shoot, but offered no explanation. People speculated. Was it Ozempic? Weight Watchers? Something deeper? Then came the silence. For someone who had spent her entire career being open, her sudden lack of answers felt uncharacteristic. Behind the scenes, her colleagues noticed she was taking longer breaks between segments. She walked more slowly. She winced when standing up. Some said she broke down in tears during a commercial break. And then, without much warning, she vanished from the show for several days. CBS called it pre-scheduled time off, but those closest to her knew the truth. Gayle had received a diagnosis, a serious, undisclosed health condition that required immediate changes to her life. Her routine, her diet, her future, all needed to be reconsidered. Even as she worked to manage her new reality, the industry she helped hold together began to shift around her. CBS, amid budget cuts and executive reshuffling, decided to move CBS Mornings from its high-profile Times Square studio to a more modest space. Gayle wasn't consulted. Her office, which she had built into a sanctuary over the years, was taken away without warning. After everything, after carrying the show through scandals, low ratings, and national tragedies, it felt like betrayal. She made it clear, she was not just another name on a lineup. She had earned her space, her respect, and she wasn't going to let it slip quietly. But just when it seemed the weight of it all might crush her, Gayle King did something no one expected. She said yes to space. In a historic move, she joined Blue Origin's all-female flight crew for a journey into the cosmos. At 70 years old, she boarded that spacecraft alongside Katy Perry, Lauren Sanchez, a civil rights advocate, a NASA scientist, and a film producer. It was the first all-women mission of its kind since 1963. As the rocket broke through Earth's atmosphere, Gayle floated, smiled, and proved, once again, that limits were not for her. Critics questioned the mission's value. Some called it a stunt, others pointed to the cost. But Gayle pushed back. She reminded the world that inspiration matters, that young girls watching need to see what's possible. And for one day, CBS mornings soared to the top of the ratings. Still, behind the scenes, life was evolving. Oprah had been rushed to the ER with a stomach illness. It was Gayle who broke the news, cautiously, lovingly, visibly shaken. What many missed was that Gayle wasn't just speaking about Oprah's vulnerability. She was speaking about her own. Even her legendary friendship with Oprah took on a new tone. Not just one of celebration, but of protection. Their bond, often misunderstood and endlessly speculated on, remained unshakable. Oprah once said, "Gayle is the sister everyone deserves," and Gayle returned the sentiment tenfold. Meanwhile, Gayle's personal life was full of milestones. Her son, William Jr., got married in a stunning ceremony held at Oprah's home. The joy on Gayle's face was unmistakable. She shared the moment with viewers, proud, glowing, full of love. And yet, a quiet heaviness lingered, the kind that comes when you realize the chapters are changing. For decades, she had pushed through heartbreaks, fought for equal pay, and spoken publicly about painful topics like suicide, loneliness, and identity. In 2019, she renegotiated her CBS contract from $5 million to $11 million a year. She did it not out of greed, but out of principle. She had learned to know her worth, to fight for it, and to teach others to do the same. But now, the fight was different. This time, it wasn't about ratings or raises. It was about health, about time, about legacy. Gayle King may not have announced a formal goodbye, but the signs are clear. She's rethinking, recalibrating, not walking away from something broken, but stepping into something fuller. She's floated in space. She's watched her children start families. She's held the trust of a nation for decades. And perhaps, for the first time, she's asking a question she spent a lifetime deferring. What does she want? Maybe she wants a life that doesn't start before dawn. Maybe she wants to be present for dinners, birthdays, the quiet mornings with her grandchildren. Maybe she's ready for a different kind of spotlight, one that's warmer, gentler, earned, because reinvention isn't a retreat, it's a reward. Gayle King has spent her life holding space for others, on camera, in conversations, and in the culture. And now, finally, she's making space for herself. She may not be on your screen every morning anymore, but she's still a force, a guide, a legend. And this next chapter, it might just be her most powerful yet. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell icon so you never miss a story that moves you.